7:24. The woman behind No Permit, No Park today reinvents the campaign to stop people misusing disabled parking bays. 612 community correspondent Alicia Friday Wright says naming and shaming doesn't work and only divides communities. Morning, Friday.
Good morning, Spencer.
Who's come to that conclusion?
Well, it's research that we've been looking at with amongst a group of advocates and looking at various pages that have been doing similar to what we do and seeing that it really just creates a lot of argument on the page and people trying to justify why they've done it and people arguing back why they shouldn't do it, and it never really ends well. So we've realised that, and that's for the people who do catch on. Most people, when their photo of their car is shown, don't even know that it's there.
So they don't even realise that they did it, you mean?
Well, they don't know that they've been named and shamed.
I'm with you. I see what you're saying.
Unless they identify their car and it comes up in their news feed or someone shows them. So majority of people aren't even aware. But the ones that do become aware, just end up very aggressive.
So what's the new approach? What are you starting today? You've got new flyers, haven't you?
Yeah, it was always about trying to educate. But, of course, it's something that I've had to learn as I go along, what's the most effective approach. And a while ago in New South Wales, they did actually have some flyers that they gave out to people to put on cars that they found, with these offences. And it was worded really well in a way that people then could understand, oh, wow, I've actually broken a law here and I didn't realise. A lot of cases where I've spoken to people directly when I approach them, majority of times they don't realise. They say, oh, but I'm only going to be a minute, or, it's okay because whatever reason, and I explain to them that there is actually an infringement and police can issue it, particularly in private parking, like shopping centres, that kind of thing. They think that it's not an area where they can get a fine. So when they find out that they can, they go, oh, I didn't know, and then they realise. So, getting the message across with the education about the parking laws and that they can get an infringement, but more so that it really creates that inconvenience for the disabled community, then hopefully it will be something that makes them think more about what they're doing.
Now, you did have flyers before, but you've just toned the language down. There's more information. It explains it more. There are diagrams. I mean, it's very, very professional looking, fantastic looking brochure, which we've tweeted this morning. We've put on our Facebook as well, so you can have a look and see what the flyer looks like. It starts off with a very gentle, this brochure contains information about the parking of your vehicle. Who's not going to take that off the windscreen and read it? I know you wanted to get state government endorsement on your flyers. Have you got that yet?
No, that's something that I'm working on next. I'm hoping to sit down with various levels of government to see if we can have a national approach to the issue. It's very difficult because disability rights are a federal issue, but enforcement of them is then done at a state level, and then councils also step in on their part as well. So it's very fragmented on who deals with what. So we're hoping that we can sit down and have a conversation and make it more of a national approach to, sort of remove the confusion of, who's allowed to do what in which state.
Friday, you've always talked about people giving the excuse, oh, I didn't realise that I'd done that. Can I tell you a personal story from the last week? Both these things happened in the last week. First of all, I parked at a shopping centre in the city, and it wasn't until after I hopped out of the car that I saw the wheelchair logo and then was able to move to another spot. But I might not have looked down. My wife, Nikki, was telling me that she returned to her car the other day only to find that she had parked by mistake in a disabled bay, and she felt awful about that. Now, that's two people from one family in 1 week genuinely doing it by mistake. I wonder whether a little bit of work needs to be done on making the parking bays clearer.
Absolutely. That's another issue that we're dealing with on a national basis. The fact that the standards have been changed over the last few years in the design of the bays. So we've gone from, the simple bay with the symbol in it that was only like the same size, sort of generally at 3.2 metres wide. Now they've divided them into three sections and put two bays together with a shared space in the middle. And that's something that our flyer also outlines, is that shared space in the middle is also a no parking zone, because we often get vehicles parked in those middle spaces, which means that someone who needs a mobility device can't get back into their car. And people think that because it's not actually marked with the disability symbol, they can't be fined for parking there, when in fact they can. Wow. It's a painted island.
Very interesting.
So we are hoping that with the most recent review that should be released, I think it's early next year, that's the review of the disability access to premises standards, that hopefully some changes will be made in there, that buildings are put on more of notice on a schedule to upgrade their disability access, rather than just sort of waiting until they get around to it.
All right. And you don't have to wait till you get a flyer on your car. You can have a look at our Twitter feed this morning, 612 Brisbane, or our Facebook as well, where the flyer is, and you can read that info and just learn something. Just educate yourself, and that's going to get on top of this more efficiently than anything else. Always great to have you on the program, Friday. Thanks for your time again. You. 7:29, Friday Wright, the founder of the No Permit, No Park campaign and 612 community correspondent for people with disabilities. 7:29.